Hello and welcome to Dee Dee Blooms. In this video I wanted to feature two of my Zygopetalums that are in bloom. I've got another one that's in spike. It's got a ways to go before it actually opens any buds, but for now this is the two that I have in bloom, and they're kind of opposite of the spectrum of Zygopetalums and the coloring that you can get from various hybrids. And I grow all of my Zygopetalums outside except one. The one that I'm growing indoors is in my back warm intermediate grow room, and it's been struggling. So that's the only reason I don't have it outside. I don't want it to feel any stress. So I've been trying to nurse it back to health. It's actually a division of another plant. So if I lose it, it's not the end of the world. I still have the other division that's like growing outdoors, out on my covered patio. So these two, both growing on my outdoor covered patio, pretty way up high. If you've seen my patio videos, I have these kind of copper colored, not copper, but clay colored metal containers with wrought iron surrounding it, and I have them elevated up on a pulley system, and I have the majority of my Zygopetalums in those buckets or hanging off of those buckets very high up so they don't get any direct sun. And they all do really well. I get regular blooms, most so far not twice a year. From what I understand, Zygopetalum types can bloom spring and fall. So here we are with some fall blooms. In the spring, a few of my others tend to like to only bloom in the spring. And maybe it's my fertilizer schedule. Maybe I'm not feeding them enough to get 2 times a year, but from what I understand, they have that potential. So again, I wanted to feature these two because look at the beautiful difference in the blooms. You go from a super dark to a very lighter contrasting lip coloring going on here. So let's take a look. Now I have featured both of these in bloom before, so these are not first time bloomers for me. So the first one here is my Zygopetalum Sweet Jade, Sweet Cheyenne. And what drew me to this orchid was not even knowing what the flowers look like, the name Cheyenne. I had a beautiful shepherd mix who passed away a couple years ago now, and I saw her name was Cheyenne, and I said, I don't care what the flowers look like, I want this plant. And so I really think about my beautiful Cheyenne when growing this, and especially when it's in bloom, I like to think I'm spending a little extra time with her. I know that maybe sounds a little corny or sappy, but we all grieve differently. So yeah, so not to be all super sad, but it makes me happy overall, and I'm sure everyone understands. But let's look at these flowers. So we've got bright green petals and sepals with beautiful like dark brown spotting all around, and then this white lip with a cascade of purple, dark purple veining, or like a waterfall look. Kind of like, it reminds me of the Miltoniopsis, and some Miltonias have that waterfall look on their lips. So a lot of the Zygopetalums have that look to it, and maybe there's more official industry terminology for it, but to me it looks painted on. I'm going to try to zoom in here, see if my camera will stop doing that blurry effect. It looks like somebody took a paintbrush, and it's just so delicate and pretty, and each one is unique but also very similar in the effects of the spotting. So like this one compared to this one, a lot of similarities, right? The sepals have less spotting than the 3 petals, but it's still unique in its spotting and the veining on the, or the waterfall effect on the lip. And so this blooming, I have 4 gorgeous flowers, and they emerge from the base of a new growth. Here's the new growth. This one is fairly mature. Some Zygopetalums, the bloom spike or flower spike starts when it's really little. And this, I want to say this was maybe a couple inches shorter when I noticed the bloom spike. So, but it finally opened its flowers, and here's how large the new growth is so far. But it matures into beautiful pseudobulbs. And here's some of the older ones. They've all lost their leaves. I think this maybe is just the genetics of this plant. I have it potted in moss and bark with perlite. There might even be some charcoal in this mix. This one was repotted some time ago, but I got four beautiful, beautiful flowers, and they're very lovely scented. Let's see. So floral and spicy. So you might have heard about Zygopetalums that a lot of them can be very, very spicy smelling. This one has a mix of both. Neither the floral or the spicy scent of it is overpowering. And it mixes really nice together. So it's very, very pleasant and not overpowering. Sometimes the overpowering scented orchids are just too much for me. It gives me a little bit of a headache, but that happens to me even just with some perfumes, strongly scented anything, I think. So again, sweet Jade, sweet Cheyenne. So next we'll look at this really darker flowered Zygopetalum hybrid, and this one is actually a Pptm. Now the tag is a bit rubbed off, but I think it stands for Propetalum. I'll put on the screen what Pptm all stands for, but I think it's Propetalum. So this one is La Jolla Delight HO, and it's an AMAOS awarded orchid. Oh, and actually it says it's a prom, which I think it might be Promenaea Zygopetalum. Pptm might be Promenaea Zygopetalum. But you'll see on my screen if I'm correct, because I have misstated many, many types of names. So I will look up Pptm and the PROM. So it's stapelioides crossed with Zygo kiwi dust. Interesting. So this is the second time this one is blooming for me. I repotted it back on 11/2023, so it's been a year. It's been doing really well, growing outdoors. I got this from Norman's Orchids a couple years ago now. I ordered it online. Sorry, quick back to this one. This one I ordered via an Etsy vendor like 3 years ago. So let's take a look at these gorgeous blooms. So look at that depth of deep, deep chocolate plum petals and sepals. Very, very glossy because of the coloring, I'm sure. There's a hint of cream whitish. It might even be the green, because a lot of Zygopetalums have green hints. Like you can see the outline on the top of this petal. See the outline on that? I bet you it's like a light minty green, so you can see some stripes on the sepals of that, I think cream or minty green coming through. And the lip is a gorgeous cranberry red color with the edge, the bottom edge with some white. And it's a very velvety feeling. Not the petals and sepals, but the lip is has a velvety feel to it. Still very glossy, very firm petal, sepals, and lip. It's just beautiful. And this one has a little bit more of a spicy, but it also has the floral in it as well. But the spicy scent is a lot stronger on this one than the floral part of it. Isn't that gorgeous? And so this is coming out on 2 flower spikes. I've got 2 flowers on one spike and 2 flowers on another. And this is from one growth. So this new growth right here put out 2 flower spikes. So it's very prolific. Very well worth it. I've got these other older growths. Again, it's got the pattern on the older ones losing the leaves. But the newer growths keep their leaves, and now it has started another new growth. So I'm starting up with another direction of growth with this one, which is exciting. This is a pretty teeny tiny growth, but if I can have 2 directions of growth and get even more flower spikes, what a beautiful show this will start turning into. So this guy's turned a little sideways here. Really enjoying these this fall here in November 2024. Hope you are also enjoying seeing these blooms. Again, I grow these outside. I'm in Southern California. I grow them year round. I've brought them inside to enjoy the blooms and smell them a little bit more easily, because with them being elevated up in those metal buckets, I can't enjoy them or see them up close. So I bring them inside while they're in bloom. Of course, watching out for critters and trying to rehome the critters before bringing them in. But and so I know I've got a couple weeks at least of beautiful blooms and fragrance from these guys, and I'm just so happy. Really starting to see more and more shows with my Zygopetalums. So in Southern California, I have really warm summers. They're undercover year-round, no direct sunlight, so they get the really warm temperatures. This last summer, we had a horrid heat wave where even on the patio, it almost reached 100 degrees. So that's in shade, like full cover, and it got so hot. So I was watering like crazy, and but they did okay. I think I lost a couple extra leaves that maybe would have hung on a little longer, but they made it through, and now I've got these beautiful blooms. And they also do good in the colder temperatures, so we don't get down to freezing, but we've already been having low 40s night temperatures. So that seems to also inspire them to spike. Kind of like Phalaenopsis. You know, the Phalaenopsis hybrids, the winter blooming type, they need that cool down. Well, Zygopetalums seem to react to that in their environment as well, and there's probably articles about it. Because when I was growing the first ones that I got indoors, they never bloomed for me. I had them for a year and a half, and then I was like, okay, that's it. I've read enough articles that says they can grow outside in my environment, put them outside, and the first chance they got, they started blooming for me. So it really does make a difference. But if you are trying to grow indoors and can't, you know, if you're in like a real heavy winter, you're going to want to put them near a window where the cool down might happen. If you can crack the window, that would be even better for your Phalaenopsis and your Zygopetalums. So that's just my experience, but I do have that luxury living where I live to just be able to put them outside. Now, if I saw that it was going to get close to freezing, which last winter we had close to freezing, but again, mine are undercover. But if it ever would turn to be really severe, I'd probably just go out there and drape some old sheets. I've kept a whole bunch of old sheets and pillowcases just in case I need to throw some protection out there on some of the plants. So yeah, sorry for all my shaking. But if you have any questions for me, please let me know about growing these. And I hope you've enjoyed the different colored blooms and the kind of the different color scheme you can get with Zygopetalum and the hybrids. And so put in the comments any questions. Please give a thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.